We're sorry. That's the message from the RSL in New South Wales to veterans on the 50th anniversary of the end of Australia's involvement in the Vietnam War. Thousands of people gathered for commemorative services in Canberra and Sydney to honour those who served for Australia.
Laying wreaths and roses to honour those who made the ultimate sacrifice. This year marks 5 decades since Australian forces ended their withdrawal from Vietnam. The RSL in New South Wales is using the anniversary to apologise for the treatment of thousands of Defence Force personnel who fought in the conflict, after many were turned away by the organisation when they returned from service.
It feels right to say sorry to those who were mistreated on their return from Vietnam. It didn't happen to all Vietnam veterans, but some Vietnam veterans were treated pretty poorly, especially by the RSL.
The opposition to Australia's involvement in the war at the time led to families being divided. Many veterans were shunned and rejected by other veterans who did not regard Vietnam as a real war.
The apology today, I think, highlights to a lot of veterans that we did make mistakes. But we're rectifying those mistakes.
To hear that apology gives you hope for future veterans, because it should never ever be repeated ever again.
Around 60,000 Australians served in the Vietnam War. 523 Australians lost their lives and more than 3,000 were wounded in the conflict. Thousands of people attended services in Canberra and Sydney to honour those who served our nation.
Today is a day in which I'll be paying tribute to those men and women who served, particularly in that war, because what happened when they came home was they didn't get the respect and the support and the care that they needed, but importantly as well, that they deserved.
Here in Sydney, messages of thanks and gratitude have been placed for those who are no longer with us, but will never be forgotten. The RSL in New South Wales says the organisation has learned from its mistakes and has made strides to ensure all veterans and their families are included. We are being reminded to stop and say thank you.
I urge people, not just the veterans and their families, but the general public and friends of people who know veterans, to say thank you for your service today and remind the Vietnam veterans that they'll never be forgotten.
Gabriella Power, Sky News, Sydney.